everyone, it's Umaira again, and I'm going to explain to you about a simple way to break a bad habit. Let me start with this. A study shows that um, no matter how hard you try to pay attention or focus on something, you're eventually gonna drift off to dreamland or daydream. Like, no matter how hard you try to focus yourself on a subject or things. And what is a habit? That's from my understanding, a habit is something that you do either unconsciously or sometimes even consciously. Like, for example, some people, they will hit the person beside them when they laugh. That's a habit. And for some people, they will bite their nails when they're anxious, and that's like a habit. But that's not necessarily a bad habit. Sure, you get hurt by biting your nails. Sometimes you get hurt, and the person besides you are gonna get hurt when you hit them. But that's not like a bad habit. And from the videos that I listened to, it says that there's this thing called positive and negative reinforcement, and it's like a trigger behavior and rewards. Trigger behavior rewards. And I'm gonna just take the example from the videos that I listened to. It's like you see food, you eat food, and then you feel good. Or other example is you smoke. You see cigarettes, you smoke, and then you feel good. And that's like the positive and negative reinforcement. And if the process keep repeating, it's gonna be a habit. It's gonna become a habit. And yeah, that's how a habit is formed, from nothing to a habit. And or our brain are creative, so they will like not improve, but it will become more. Like, for example, another example, you're stressed, and then you eat food, and then you feel good, and repeat, and then it's gonna become a habit. But why I say that it's like the example is like a bad habit, because when you see food that, or like sweets, and then you just, when you're stressed, every time you're stressed, you're gonna eat food, you're gonna eat sweets, and then you might get diabetes, you might get obesity. And for smoking, it's like if you smoke too much, it's gonna be bad for your lungs. And if you smoke every time you feel stressed, of course it's gonna be bad for your lungs. So a simple way to break that habit is to not force yourself to stop the habit, but instead be curious about what the effects of the habits on yourself, or just be aware of what the effects are gonna do to your body or yourself. And for example, smoking, if you're aware of how it tastes when you're smoking, and it doesn't taste good, it feels good but it doesn't taste good, and slowly you're gonna become disenchanted by smoking, and you lose interest, so eventually the habit will wear off, will be gone. And there's a part in our brain, the front of our brain, called the prefrontal cortex, which is the youngest part of our brain, and it's the one who worked the hardest to stop us from doing bad habits, or to change our behavior, basically. It's called a cognitive control. However, this part of our brain is also the one that stops working as soon as we get stressed. So that's why our habits just keep repeating and not stopping, because the prefrontal cortex of our brain, they turn off every time we get stressed. And if our mindset is like to eat sweets when we get stressed, then the prefrontal cortex will not be able to stop it, because they're also turned off. So basically mindfulness, or the act of not forcing yourself and be curious instead. That's how an effective way to makes you lose interest in a bad habit. And research also shows that the mindfulness training is twice more effective than a gold level therapy for those who want to stop smoking, because a therapy is just almost like forcing yourself to stop, just listening to your doctor and stuff. And as for mindfulness training, you're gonna be aware of the effects of the bad habit has on you, and this will makes you lose interest and eventually stop the habit. You become disenchanted from the habit, and you manage to stop. So that's what I learned from a video, a TED Talk video in YouTube about a simple way to break your bad habit. That's all from me. Bye.